Today we have htoNick or hto number Nick. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. In this game you use fireflies to lead a cute little girl with what looks like deer antlers on her journey. And it looks so cute until it isn't. This game is brutal and unforgiving. And here I'm going to talk about some missable achievements in a new format of video, where I give my voice commentary and tips on how to get them. So in this game there are 4 chapters, and each of the chapters has 4 stages. And each of the stages has a missable achievement attached to it. The one you're seeing right now is the very first one, and this chapter is kind of tutorial chapter. It's most likely you will not get this achievement when you just play for the first time, because you will just be figuring out the general mechanics of the game. But if you come back to it a little bit later, after you've played some time, then you just have to pass this chapter 1, stage 1 in under 80 seconds, which is very, very easy. And here you are, you've got this achievement. What is special about this game is that you don't control the protagonist directly. You control this green little firefly, and she will follow it. And that creates quite interesting mechanic. And also you can see that the game is rather slow and unforgiving as a combination to really test your patience. But still, the first chapter is quite easy anyways, and the achievement for the stage 2 of first chapter is dying to completely avoidable toxic waste. For this you need to use the other mechanic this game has, the shadow firefly called Umbra, and you move her through the shadows to this little pipe on the right. Then you activate it. This green liquid starts pouring down, and all you need to do for the achievement is to walk into it, either as it's pouring down or just fall into the pool and die. As easy as that. One thing which is easy about this game is dying. For the chapter 3 achievement, you need to interact with 3 little stuffed animals hidden throughout the stage. First one is easy. You just need to climb to the top of a box. Next one is going to be a little bit more tricky, because you will need to stack 2 boxes on top of each other. I'm cutting the footage a little bit here to make this video concentrate on the achievements only. I plan to make another video about all the hidden memories and the game's story, but here we concentrate only on the achievements. You can see there is this little stuffed rabbit or something like that, and when Mion climbs, she still can't grab it. You need to stack 2 boxes on top of each other with little bit of an offset, so that Mion could climb one box and then climb the other one. And here I am positioning the bottom box a little bit to the side, and the top box must land exactly where it needs to be. Yep, you can see it. There is this little offset, which is just enough for her to climb on. And you need to drag the 2 boxes to the correct spot first. And here you have it. Another stitching coming. I'm going to cut right to the location of the final stuffed rabbit. You can't really see it, but all you need to do is just walk towards the left edge of the screen before proceeding to the final stage. The final achievement for the chapter 1 is tied to boss sequence, and all you need to do is just escape without dying anytime. There can be some near misses, but the game is still gonna register this achievement as long as there is no retry. There will be those moments when the shadow beast is gonna gain upon you significantly, and this is where you have to activate the Umbra just in time to crush the beast under something. And yeah, even though it grabbed you for a bit, it still didn't register any actual death, so you can proceed. You could see here things are starting to get much darker, and this is only the beginning. The things are gonna get much worse. And here we're gonna proceed to the chapter 2 achievements. For this particular achievement, you have to avoid activating the levers when it's not absolutely necessary. Here's one on the left, which you could have activated to walk the conveyor belt faster, but you don't need it. It just takes a little bit longer, that's all. For this achievement, you also can't die until you finish the sequence, so watch out. And I'm sure this video, the one where I actually succeeded for this achievement to work, is gonna make things look much easier than this game actually is. If you can notice, there is a shadow monster on the lower conveyor, so I have to keep walking to the left to give it some time to make a safe passage. I forgot where to go here, so it took me some time, but you have to activate this lever so you could cross this sequence fast enough to not be crushed. here on the left you can see the final lever that you have to activate 2 times, because you need to bring the box down from the conveyor belts without being destroyed, and then climb on it. I'm waiting for the box to come down to make sure that it doesn't crush me as it's falling. Using levers only 4 times is the easier part, and not dying a single time is much harder. And here's yet another sequence where you have to cross safely. And that's it. Here you have it. Use the levers only 4 times and haven't died. The achievement tied to the stage 2 isn't really missable, because you have to pass the maze in under 60 seconds anyways. And here I used the video from my very first playthrough when I was granted it, even though I'm really stumbling and walking around a lot, and I could cross the maze only from the 3rd try. The sequence is sped up, and you can see my first failed attempt and then my second failed attempt, and I was able to make it only on the 3rd try, and still I got the achievement. So I guess it is unmissable. Another thing you can see in this video is that some objects are really glitching out. They do not appear or appear with a delay. And this is what happens when you try to play this game on a resolution higher than 1080. Unfortunately, it just doesn't work. And many people attribute the increased difficulty of this game due to the bad port. For me, the difficulty was actually the fun part, so frustrating at times, but still rather fun than not. But some puzzles are indeed impossible unless you have all the objects spawn just exactly where they should be and exactly in time. So right after this maze, I had to switch to lower resolution for the game to be stable and work as intended, and it did. Everything was just perfect on the 1080 resolution. That's an endless cycle. First you upgrade your laptop, hoping that the videos will now be processed much faster, and they are, until you figure out you can record them at much higher resolution, and once you do, they are processed very slowly once again. This achievement is a little bit annoying because you have to basically replay the whole stage before you could actually try for the achievement. It's possible to back up your save just at the stage and then copy the file back to save a little bit of time, but otherwise you have to start from the very beginning. And this part, luckily, is not hard. You just have to be careful and switch the lever at the right moment. And in order to actually get the maze achievement, I had to switch to mouse control. Normally, I was using the controller, but getting the maze done on the controller is next to impossible. And on contrary, it's extremely easy with the mouse. I think I got it on maybe like second try or third try. And one thing you have to be mindful when switching from the controller to the mouse is when you move, the labyrinth moves towards you a little. So you have to be slow and not run into the walls. And also there are those moments when the labyrinth zooms out for you to see Mion on the conveyor belt. And you also have to be mindful where exactly you are located at this point, because you may be at the point which will count as death once you regain the control. Here I'm making the run for the labyrinth in the very aggressive way, crossing to the farthest point possible in one go, but you could actually stay a bit on the left and wait for these electrified roads to come back up. Here in particular, you definitely have to stay just before the gear, because if you try to enter that area too fast, then you will lose control for some time for the screen to zoom out, and the gear won't be stopping movement, and it will end up overlapping with the firefly, and that will result in a death. And this particular sequence was just a nightmare, complete nightmare on the controller, and is extremely easy with the mouse, because all you have to do is more or less keep the cursor in just about the same spot. And on controller, you have to execute very precise, tiny movements. And yeah, that is so much harder on the controller. And once you're done with the labyrinth, you could switch to controls which are more comfortable. So here you have it. It can be time consuming, but if you have a mouse and if you're good with mouse, it's not hard. For the final achievement, tied to chapter 2, you have to feed the 3 explosive boxes to the boss without letting it burn a single one. And this can be very tricky to get because the burn range is much larger than the hit range, and you just have to keep retrying until you are lucky. And one thing that helped me a little bit is to keep in mind that there will not be 2 burn sequences in a row. So if he burned it, so if it just emitted the fire, like right now, then you can be sure the next sequence will be either roar or jumping and eating something. So that means you could wait with the box until you get the fire, and only after move the box close enough to the boss for it to grab it. And when you get to this part, you have to activate your Shadow Fairy, the Umbra, to explode the rocket in the mouth of the boss. And I didn't know I had to do this. I was thinking that maybe I need to hide in some other place. And that's why I spent insanely long amount of time finishing this boss. The thing that makes you die the most in this part is probably the boxes falling from the ceiling. But yeah, here you have it, the risky feeding achievement accomplished. And we can proceed to Chapter 3 achievements. And here for the cloud hopping achievement, it's crucial that you retry the whole stage. If you just retry from the checkpoint, you will not get it. I made this mistake once, and I don't want you to make it. You can skip the cinematic part, so there isn't much difference to just retrying or quitting to the menu and starting again. And when you are not just practicing and you are actually trying to get the achievement, it's crucial that you go to the menu, choose the stage, and start it from the very beginning. And the point of this achievement is that once you get the umbrella and you start moving with the flow of the wind, then you should not land anywhere until the next checkpoint. And the first thing that you must keep in mind that you do not need to grab the umbrella straight away. You need to halt a little bit for the monster on the top layer to move into more favorable position. This part here is quite tricky, and I'm slowing down the footage so that you could see. It's important that you make this jump on the first try because you got the most momentum to actually cross the gap. And you see I moved the firefly to the left just enough for Mion to start flying upwards. Then I move it to the center of the grate, and once she reaches the top point, then I immediately move it to the right to make her start moving towards the next airstream. At this point, if you couldn't make it, you could restart the stage and walk through those snow fans once again and try it. But for the actual achievement, remember, it's crucial to restart the whole stage. And another tricky part is that circular soul blade. Here is particularly easy because you just need to be at about half the height of the screen to cross it without dying to the shadow monster. And here you can cross either on top of the soul blade or under the soul blade. I was practicing mainly for under, waiting at the very top, and then you have to be a little bit brave and know that the hitbox of the umbrella does not equal your own hitbox. So when your umbrella intersects with the soul blade, you don't die. So you have to watch Mion's body mostly and not think so much about the umbrella. In this part, you have to descend in order to be safe from the shadow monster, and then cross to the next airstream a little bit early because the air flow is a little bit stronger in that airstream and it will push you up. If you halt, then you're gonna die to the shadow monster. And here, make sure you do not land on the slope, and once you're safe, then move the firefly to the right to be safe from the soul blade. And here also you have to not enter the airstream too early and let Mion descend just enough, because you can't be too high up to cross without being hit by the shadow monster. And I've noticed that the umbrella bottom, just about the level of the rivets, is the right height, and if you land on that thing, you will lose the achievement, and also you will die. So anyway, it's you have to make this jump perfectly, and that's it. Here is the final part, and if you did everything right, you're gonna get the achievement here. It was hard, but it was very, very fun. Maybe the video makes it look easy, but it's not. It took me a while. The hardest part about the hopeless romantic achievement is that you have to replay the whole stage from the very beginning, and you can die as many times as you want. It doesn't matter in this case, but the stage itself is extremely hard, and that achievement is at the very end. So yeah, it's really a pain to get to this point once again if you didn't get it the first time around. You can see this airstream on the left, and this is where you must start your ascent. You should not go to the fan blade, which will remove your mushroom for now, and instead you should be going up and up and up and up. And this first transition is a little bit harder, so you may not get it from the first try. It takes a little bit of practice. And I'm going to speed up the video because otherwise it just takes too much time and is very repetitive. Here I made the mistake to keep my firefly at the bottom of the screen, so when I got to the moon I couldn't see the full picture, and I didn't want to do that once again. But yeah, just keep your firefly at the top for the best view. And then the fans will switch off and you will just slowly descend down. Stage 3 achievement is very easy to get, and if you didn't get it the first time around as you were passing the stage 3, you can get it when you're on the way for the true ending of the game, because it's right next to the temple. If you move the firefly upwards, you will see the raven that you actually have to feed, and then you need to shoot the seeds upward for it to catch them. It takes like 1 minute. And is not dangerous, unlike many other things in this game. And here we get to the chapter 3 boss, and I made sure to watch the video first in order to know exactly what I need to do. Because as much fun as this game is, it also is extremely frustrating when you keep dying over and over and over again and not understanding what to do. So you have to be avoiding the spikes long enough for the monster to shoot an extra long spike upwards. It will be positioned right where you stand, and once this sound stops, then you will have enough time to cross to safety. And once the spike shoots up, you use shadows to cross upwards and drop the body down. And after that, you need to feed the body to one of the carnivorous flowers on the left or on the right. And for me, what made this game just a little bit easier is for the first 3 bodies that you don't try to feed them to the carnivorous flower straight away, but wait for those random spikes to stop appearing, because it may be extremely hard to figure out where they are gonna pop up, because sometimes you may be confused. Is this the dust from the spike going down, or is this the dust from the spike about to come up? Also, I try to do the left side first and then the right side, because somehow the left side was harder for me, and the strategy made sure that if I get through the left side, then it's highly likely that I will be able to finish the right side without any problems. And when you get to the final body, this is where you actually have to feed it immediately, because if the random spikes will not be popping up at that time, and if you halt, then the monster will try to retrieve the body back again. And I haven't seen this animation because I knew exactly what to do, and this actually gives you the achievement if you do it straight away without the monster retrieving the body. I'm not sure, maybe I'll try to come back and record this animation just for this video. And look where this game took us. It started as this cute little girl, and it ventured right into the true horror territory where you feed your own clones' dead bodies to the carnivorous flowers, trying to stuff this horrible screaming abomination on top of you. This boss fight is where the game enters real horror category. One thing that you need to know is that when you interact with the corpse, in order to grab it, sometimes the character will move either to the left or to the right, and you don't really have any control where exactly, and therefore she may move to exactly where the spikes are. But then you don't need to grab the corpse from a particular side in order to feed it to the flower, because the flower is gonna grab the corpse first anyway, even though you may be located closer to it. And here you are at the last body, and you need to feed it to the flower immediately, and then you will win this boss fight. Otherwise, it will just keep grabbing and grabbing it once again until you do it fast enough. And the achievement at this stage is not letting the monster do it even once. And this is how it looks like if you take too long. As you can see, there is plenty of time, so it's not like you have to be super fast. But anyways, don't let this happen if you want the achievement. I found chapter 4 not as hard as chapter 3, but it is where the game leans very much into its puzzle part. For Sharp Mind 2 achievement, you don't just need to start from the last checkpoint, you actually need to restart the whole stage, and you need to watch out for the monsters so that they won't be right at your location when you exit the doors. Other than that, it's pretty relaxed and simple. You just need to follow the exact sequence of the doors, that's all. Cull the Week is one fun achievement to get, and you need to shoot all those shadow monsters with the flower. And in order to succeed, you need to move the flower a little bit to the back, and then it's best to have Mion just sit down away from the flower so that she doesn't interact with it all of a sudden. And make sure you get one seed to press on the button here too. The hitboxes in this game, sometimes when you grab the flower, you cannot just simply ungrab it. It gets stuck in the interaction mode, and sometimes you accidentally move the flower directly to the character, and so making the character die. And the final part, you have to get rid of all the monsters, each of those sitting on top of each gear. And for that, you need to turn the flower to the back. Also being just very, very careful so that the seed does not ricochet anywhere, killing Mion. And then just wait for a little bit until everyone is definitely gone. And then it's important to let go of the interaction with the flower, and you have to move the firefly very far away for it to be released. And sometimes it's a little bit hard to do that, but okay, yeah, here I moved it far enough, and I'm coming back like really, really carefully, and I will make Mion push the flower downwards, also just doing it very slowly, watching for the possible ricochet. Lord of the Pipes is an achievement which is on the easier side. For this, you need to pass through all the pipes in the stage, and you may die in between. It doesn't matter. So yeah, that makes it very easy. There are three choices, three ways for you to go. Two on the bottom with the mushroom, and one on the top without the mushroom. And the one on the top is a dead end, and I don't have the footage for it. But anyways, you just go there and you continue until you reach the dead end. And then you can take the paths on the bottom. And on the bottom, the left side is harder, and it will take you to the secret memories. So it might be best to get it first. And as you get the secret memory, it's possible you will take too long and you will die to the glitch right before completing the stage. And then you will just respawn and you can take a shorter path on the right. And you will get the achievement once you exit. The final stage boss and the achievement tied to it are not just hard, they are just impossible. In this sequence, you have to play a guessing game where you have to watch some objects moving really fast. There is one checkpoint which makes things a little bit easier, but it's still quite impossible unless you get insanely lucky or just naturally lucky, as per the name of the achievement. And you can see in the beginning the speed is just normal, more or less normal. And you can get about the first 7 or so right without much effort. But after that, everything gets insane. And also you have to guess correctly 24 times. You may fail only 3 times, and on the 4th fail, you're gonna die. But these fails, they do not count towards the 24, so you need to get 24 right. It's not like you can get at least 21 right. No, it has to be full 24, which makes it especially bad. This insane difficulty may be due to the fact that the game was ported to 30 frames per second. Maybe it would have been better if it was 60 frames per second, but anyways, I considered the sequence impossible, and the only way to pass it is to cheat. So first you need to enable the background recording, and you can do that in Steam very easily. Then you come back to that background recording, you export the clip, then you use any video editing or any video player software that lets you slow down. And once you have identified the correct choice, then you come back to the game, unpause it, and make the right guess. And then you will have to do it for nearly every sequence, starting from the checkpoint, so at least 12 times. But if you want the achievement, then the full 24 times. Just look at the speed, and it's not even the worst one. I was examining the footage for some other ones, and sometimes you don't even get the full view. You get like a tiny fraction of the shape on the left as it enters the gap, and the tiny fraction of the shape on the right as it leaves the gap. And also, this is not the kind of puzzle that I enjoy. So yeah, I cheated on it in order to complete the game, and I don't have any shame. Finally, there are 2 more achievements which are considered missable, but in reality they are not. It's achievements for dying 10 and 100 times, and you will get them. You will definitely get them. Maybe around chapter 2, maximum at the chapter 3. There's zero doubt about that. Truly, zero. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video about a cute little girl guided by fireflies.